So a few weeks ago, we put those door number 1 together and released a video that was just a short time lapse of putting that door together. And we've also got door number 2, which is on the right there, and that one's going to be in this video. And also the attempt to get these the first coat of primer on them, which resulted in the rain washing all of it off, so it's kind of a whitewash color now, and actually it washed off quite a bit. So you'll see in that video it wasn't supposed to rain, and we had checked the forecast and we actually saw it moving in. I thought, well, we can finish it before the rain gets here, but it moved in pretty quick after we got going. And the rain actually came from the opposite direction the doors are facing, and it was beating right onto the door, so it washed almost all the primer off. So we'll have to schedule another day for the primer, and schedule at the same time hopefully get the paint to paint it. So anyway, this video is going to contain both the build of the door 2 and the attempt to get the primer on door 2. So we'll get at it, and here you go. folks, it's Saturday morning, actually late morning, that's after 10. We're gonna get on these doors and try to get at least a layer of kills on it. We'll get the kills on it, and I don't think we have enough paint. I do have a bucket of white paint, and it feels like it's about a third full, but I don't think we're gonna have enough to finish it with that. But we can put on what we got and use it up, and that way we have an empty can to throw away. So gonna set this up, and I'm gonna do a little sanding on this door because it's got some rain on it, and just gonna rough it up a little bit. Anyway, we're gonna sand it up just a little bit, and then we'll set this up so you can watch. All right. Alright, I believe that's got the first door sanded up. I think it's ready to paint. I'm going to see if the boss can't get some kills on that one, and I will start sanding on the other one while she's doing that. Yeah, since this door here that I just sanded, since it had a little bit of mildew on it, I'm going to go ahead and spray it down with some mildew remover. Just a light mist so it kills it before we put the primer on anyway. Going to do that right quick, and then we'll see what we can do next. Got the mildew remover on there. Gonna let that dry out while I sand this other door, and we're gonna set you guys up on a different angle here. Here we go. Alright, gonna stir up the paint here, get this job going. Got the doors prepped, got my boss out here. She's talking to her granddaughter, who's learned how to use the phone. She's not even 2 years old. Anyway, we're gonna stir this up very slowly.
Yeah, hi.
Ooh, can you give me a battery out of that box?
Yeah, so I'm gonna get Pops a battery from out of this box, Lilia. Yeah, Pop. She said Pop. Yeah, Pop's about to stir up some kilts. Yeah, he's...
Whoa, that did it.
Yeah, I hear you. He hooked a paint stirrer up to his roof, and he's stirring up the kilts. So the golden mildew kilts.
Look at that rain. Is it going to rain on us?
Yeah, it's coming
Oh my
in.
goodness,
It's
look
like
at this,
it's
folks.
closer, Russell.
Maybe we're not going to get the paint.
Yeah, it's,
Anyway, had a nice little occurrence with my stirring up the paint. Don't use level 2 on the drill.
don't use level 2 when you're stirring up
Yeah,
the paint on
the slow
drill.
speed is adequate. The fast speed on a full can will do what you see.
Oh, that was
so.
pretty smart.
Anyway, I think I am at least going to get some over this mildew door. So here we go.
Hey,
So, we got the doors painted, but it's raining. And one of them was pretty dry, but you can see, look at the water there. It's nice and white. Runoff. All right. So I know one of our doors is gonna, yeah, it wasn't supposed to rain today. But we'd already started by the time we noticed the clouds, so just finished it up. So we'll get to paint them again. That's just primer, so we'll primer them again. Yeehaw! Till then. So I went out during a slight break in the rain, and wowzers. I don't know if it can rain any harder. I've not seen it rain like this in a long time. But we're definitely got to repaint the doors. Look at all that paint in the water. All white. But yeah, I went and looked at it. They look whitewashed with mostly wood. So we'll be doing that again, probably resanding and everything. There was no rain in the forecast today. Matter of fact, after yesterday morning, it was supposed to be sunny and no clouds for like in the forecast for like 4 or 5 days. So I didn't even look this morning anyway. So anyway, I thought I'd give you guys an update. We'll see you again when we get to it. All right, so here we go. The rain has subsided, at least for now. I don't think there's any more coming. It was just that burst. There's probably 40 minutes of rain, but check out our doors. Oh my goodness. Was no reason to even do it. If we'd have known, we wouldn't have done that. But anyway, you know, that's life. You do some things, and sometimes you get it wrong, and sometimes you get it right. Sometimes you get it in the middle. You just keep plugging along, and we're going to try this again. We're going to probably have to sand it all back down, and then we'll apply the kills again, and we'll have paint next time, and we'll check the forecast, even if we've checked it the day before. So anyway, we'll let you guys go, and we'll see you when we start painting.